I'm going to put how well I know my own reading taste to the test, and I'm going to read a couple of 5-star predictions and see where I get. I have a couple different genres. I have 3 for sure I'm going to read in this video, and then I have 2 that I might get to, or I might choose one of the 2, I don't know yet. But for sure I'm going to be reading these 3. The first one is from my library, We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kluber. This is a horror. It follows a couple who have purchased a home and they are planning on renovating it, flipping it, and then reselling it for a profit. Their plans get upended when a family comes, rings the doorbell, and says, "We used to live here. I used to live here when I was a kid. Can I come in and show my family around?" Bad idea. She lets him in. Chaos ensues, I assume. I've been wanting to read this for ages, and I've been on like the wait list at my library for ages, and now it's finally in my hands. It's what's inspired this video because I need to read it right away. I have a brand new 2025 release. I have The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I didn't realize that this was coming out, and I picked up her other book, one of her other books, They Never Learn, just like on a whim. It's been sitting on my Kindle for a long time. So I read it, and I liked it a lot. I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't like the premise that I loved personally. Like I like that kind of story. I like a good for her story, but this specific one, the plot of it wasn't working super well for me, but the writing style I was obsessed with. So I'm super excited to pick up this one because the premise sounds a lot more interesting to me. It almost sounds like a Taylor Jenkins Reid plot, but I don't know how dark it gets because I feel like based on what I've read from her before, it might get a little dark. I also have Temper on my Kindle. I'm so excited to pick up. That's not going to be in this video. Unless... No. The Favorites follows a couple, and they are also professional ice skaters. They're like partners with each other. So like drama, people are like super interested in them because they're dating, but they're also ice skating partners. You know how people ship ice skating partners all the time. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the spectacle of it all. I love sports in my books. Like, not sports romance, but more like following celebrity sports people. It's like 450-ish pages. It does look like it's like a little mixed media going on. I'm so excited for this. I can't even tell you how excited I am. I know everyone is talking about it right now, and it's driving me crazy that I haven't been able to pick it up yet. Here we go. The last one that is a for sure, because I got the audiobook from the library, luckily, is Homegoing by Yahagyasi. This follows a family. It's multi-generational. It follows like, starts with 2 sisters. One sister becomes like a rich man's wife, and the other sister, she gets put into the Atlantic slave trade. So it starts in Ghana, but then it stretches to America as well, and we are following both of their lineages, I believe. I've never seen anybody else with this cover. I bought this used. I don't know, I think I got it from, I guess, thrift books. I don't like this cover as much as the other one, and I don't like this copy because it has deckled edges, and I'm a deckled edge hater. Nevertheless, I've heard such amazing things that I think that there's no way that it's not going to be 5 stars for me. So that covers like a horror, a historical fiction, and drama, thriller vibes. The other 2 I have like, I think this is a thriller. This is Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey. I think it's kind of like on the edge of horror, at least I think her other book, Migrations, is. I'm not really sure about this one. This follows a woman who works with wolves, and she is like, I think she's introducing the wolves back into their habitat and studying them, and then there is a death in the town nearby, and people are blaming the wolves, and she's saying, it wasn't my wolves. And I don't know where it goes from there. I don't know anything about this. I have a feeling. I have a 5-star feeling about it. And then the last one I have is a romance. I've been reading a lot of romance lately, so I don't know if I'm going to be in the mood for a romance. that's why this is a maybe. I don't know if I'll pick it up, but I do want to read it in the winter time, and I've been putting it off for years. I think I've had this since high school. This is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is a fantasy romance, I believe. So it follows a traveling circus that only shows up at night and then disappears. So like there's this fantasy element, and then I believe these two dueling magicians fall in love. So that sounds like a fun vibe. I've heard this is no plot, just vibes, which is my style. So I think it's gonna be 5 stars when I finally read it. I know like people either love this, or like they're like it was fine. I think I'm gonna be in the love category. Like this is a lot of people's favorite book. I love this copy. I love the shiny cover. The only bad part is the shortened front cover. Why is this a thing? Tell me why. Alright, I think I'm going to start with We Used to Live Here, since it's a library copy, and I know there's a long wait list for this. I'll pick this up first. We'll get started. I'm here to update you on We Used to Live Here. I don't think I've updated you since I started. Right now I'm 100 pages in. I did not realize I was that far in. This is a very quick read. Like, the font isn't big, but the spacing is big. So I'm kind of flying through it. But I will say I'm not like fighting the urge to pick it up. I'm not feeling the want or desire to devour it like I was expecting to, but we're still a little early. We're still like less than halfway there, so maybe that'll change. Who knows? We are following a couple, mainly following one of the women in the couple. She and her girlfriend bought this house, and they are like house flippers, so they're thinking about demolishing it, tearing it to the ground, and then rebuilding. They've only been there like, I don't know, a couple weeks or something, and now a family shows up, and they say, we used to live here. Can I look around, show my family like where I grew up? I'm having 2 issues. My first issue is the main character in here. She's not like annoying, but she is very anxious, and she isn't able to like make very good decisions. because of her anxiety, and she's second guessing herself a lot because of her anxiety. Same. So I get it. It's just like a not as fun reading experience because she's second guessing herself, and she has this problem where she like has some paranoia in her everyday life. Her girlfriend's kind of like not ignoring her. Like, she's supportive, but she doesn't really believe her when she's like, I feel like some weird stuff is going on in this house. So we don't know. We have no idea what's going on. I still have no idea what's going on. I can't wait to find out. I hope it's something exciting. I don't know. There are some pretty scary bits so far. There was one point where I was like really a little freaked out. It's like 300 pages, so I have like 200 pages left. But I'll probably try and get like 300 pages done today. I'm not really sure. I don't really have plans, but also I'm in one of those weird moods where I don't feel like doing anything and I don't feel like reading. Like, I feel like being productive, but I don't know what to be productive about. You know what I mean? All that to say, I may or not read this tonight. But I just wanted to check in because I've been neglecting you. I'm sorry. I'll be here more in the future. Oh, let me mute my TV. I'm scared. I'm hooked, okay? I wasn't hooked. I wasn't hooked until this last chapter. Let me take my glasses off. This latest chapter gave us a lot of information, some really scary moments. So far, like before this chapter, like there was one scary moment. It was scary, but it wasn't unique. It wasn't like anything that I haven't seen before. And I would still probably say that, but now I'm like on the edge of my seat, like very nervous, very scared. Nothing truly horrifying has happened, really, and we don't know what's in our head and what's not. I was struggling with our main character, not because she's poorly written or anything, just because she has anxiety, and she has paranoia, like, outside of this experience. So she's kind of struggling with getting her partner to recognize that maybe something real is happening. She's struggling to convince herself that something real might be happening. I don't know. For some reason, it's just rubbed me the wrong way, and I can't articulate why. Other than that, I'm having a heck of a time. I'm just now approaching the halfway point. I feel like I have honestly not spent very much time reading this at all. Like, I feel like I've sat down like twice to read it, and I'm like halfway. Like, it's a very quick read. I was just kind of stuck for a little bit, not wanting to pick it up, not feeling like super engaged with it. But now I feel like I'm locked in. I feel like I'm ready to find out what the heck is going on in this house. Okay, so our first book is going really well. Is it feeling like a 5 stars? No, it feels like a 4-star right now. I'll let you know if that changes anytime soon. I'm wearing my Miles Morales shirt because Spider-Man 2 came out on PC, so I really gotta get some reading done before my life is taken over by Spider-Man 2. Actually, I don't know what the runtime is. I should look at that and then multiply it by 4 for me because I'm so slow, and I'm realizing now how dirty my glasses are. Hi, I'm sorry if it's like super, super dark and you can barely see my beautiful face. I just wanted to check in because I have 20 pages left of We Used to Live Here. I'll give you my final thoughts obviously when I'm done, but I just want to say those things that I was complaining about, there's a reason. There's a reason for all of it. So if what I was like talking about in the beginning was something that would bother you, just know it goes somewhere, okay? It's not just to be twisty-turny, it's for a reason. So I'm gonna finish this bad boy while I watch The Bachelor, well, during the commercials anyway, and then we'll chit-chat about it. Are you good? You comfy? Hi. Okay. My dog is settled. I've just finished We Used to Live Here by Marcus Klumer. You saw me read the last like 10 to 20 pages. That was scary. I'm a little freaked out. Some of like the scares in there were kind of crazy. Like I actually had to put it down last night when I was reading it because I was getting too scared before bed, and that does not happen to me. Like the visuals are very scary, but also the way like the terror and the dread and the scariness ramps up throughout the book was so well paced and well done. And I haven't been that scared by a horror book in a really long time. There's just like this feeling of unease, like nervousness while you're reading the book. Like you don't really know what's gonna happen, but you know it's gonna be really rough. When what happens, you kind of like question your own reality, and it's in a really freaky way. It's kind of like one of those what the heck did I just read books. I'm gonna give it a night to think about it before I give it a rating, but it's at least a 4 from me. Like that was so good. Like after the first half, all I wanted to do was read it. I'm happy with it. I bought tea today. In other news, I bought tea today, some decaf tea, and I didn't realize it had orange rinds in it, which is fine. It's just not my normal nighttime tea, so I'm a little thrown off. I couldn't find the tea that I usually get. For some reason it like wasn't on the shelves. Anyway, I'm going to go to bed, and I will check in with you when I come up with a rating for this. The next book I'm going to start reading is Homegoing by Yagyasi. That is because I was able to get the audiobook from my library. Good night. Do I have the book I want to talk about? Yes? Okay. Hi. We're gonna update a little bit. How does that look? Let's turn off this lamp. Hi. I cut my bangs this morning, so I feel like a new woman. It's great. Final thoughts on We Used to Live Here by Marcus Klumer. I'm giving this 5 stars. I was leaning towards a 4-star when I finished it. I didn't want to start with a 5-star for the video because that felt too convenient, I guess, for the purposes of the video. But the more I think about it, the longer I sit with it, the more scared I get. I'm going with a 5-star because this was terrifying, and I don't feel like I've had a horror book sit with me as long as this has, but it was also like thoroughly entertaining. So I'm going to say this is 5 stars. It was very smart writing. Now I can move on to the next prediction. We'll see if it's also 5 stars. The next book, I think I told you, I'm picking up Homegoing. Yeah, Jossie. I'm starting this on audio. I have gotten 30 pages in. It's been very immersive. There's a lot of imagery with senses, especially like taste and especially smell. Like, I feel very in the moment with it, which is not an easy place to be in here. We're following 2 branches of a family timeline. One of the sisters was married to a white man. Starts in Ghana, and the other sister was sold to the Hellenic slave trade. So we spent the first chapter with one of the sisters. Now I'm spending the second chapter with the other sister, and I'm thinking it's only gonna have 1 chapter per character, and we're just gonna follow the family tree, like character by character, each character getting a chapter. And if that is the case, I'm into it. That is so interesting and smart and unique, and I love that. The chapters are kind of long, which is most of the reason why I think that. The first chapter, I think on the audiobook it was over an hour, which isn't, terribly long, but it is longer than average. So the audiobook narrator is really good. I'm happy to be reading it. I think I'm like 10% in, so that's what I'm going to be reading moving forward. I can't even tell you how long that I've owned this. Actually, it's only been like at 2 years. When did this come out? Because this copy looks like it's seen some things. This came out 2016. Must have been in the sunlight or something, because it's very faded at the top. Actually, I'm going to take this off while we're here. Hi. It's pretty dang good, guys. I am halfway. I'm over halfway right now. I was right. Every chapter is its own character, and then sometimes we see that character again, but we're never in their point of view again, and we're just going down these familial lines and spending a little time with each person. And listen, that is extremely ambitious for a debut novel, if you ask me. And it's great. The author is amazing and does so well. I think for me, like, enjoyment level, not maybe as engaging for me. I feel like I'm just getting attached to the character and then I lose them, which I know is on purpose, but I don't like it. I know it's for a reason. I just don't like the experience of it, and I know that I'm not supposed to like it. It's a very hard read, very terrible things happening constantly, both like to our characters and societally. It's rough out there. I really love stories where we see kind of parallels of what could happen to somebody. These 2 people, like, their lives go parallel to each other even though they're coming from the same spot, and what that leads to down the line. It's heartbreaking, just heartbreaking. So sometimes we have characters who don't know their parents or their grandparents, either because their parents aren't in contact with them or they were traded in the slave trade, and that's really hard to, like, know a character's mom or a character's dad, and they have no idea, and they're struggling with not having any idea who those people are. When you as a reader are familiar with their story, it's really hard, and it really emphasizes that kind of generational loss that's happening. Having the chapters set up like this is a super effective way of showing us that loss. I've also come to the conclusion that this cover is not supposed to look like this. I think it's supposed to be this color on the front too. I think this is totally sun warped, because on the audiobook the cover is like that deep orange, so it's kind of a shame. It's like that, oops, sorry, that like deep orange color, if you can see that. So you can kind of like see where the gradient is happening here. That stinks. Okay, I'm leaving now. I'm hopefully gonna finish soon because my book is due soon. Audiobook is due soon, like really soon. That's the wrong app. We're in the basement. I think I'm in focus. My partner has been messing with this camera, the settings on this camera, so if I'm in and out of focus, that's why. I'm still learning. I finished Homegoing by Jassy. I'm gonna go with a 4-star for this, just out of personal taste. It does feel a little weird giving that 4 stars when I gave nothing to see here, when I gave We Used to Live Here 5 stars. Alas, it's just my personal enjoyment level, so it's all very subjective. This objectively is probably one of the best things I've ever read. Flashback to me at the beginning of this book saying, oh my gosh, 1 chapter per character, that's totally gonna be my jam. I am eating my words. That's maybe not my jam. I just feel like my emotional connection to these characters could have been so much stronger with maybe like 50 more pages per character, which would make this so long. Not 50, 20 pages per character. Objectively, this is the right way to do it for what the author was trying to do with this novel, I think. This is like the kind of book that I wish was taught in schools, that I wish I had read when I was in high school. I feel like if I had read this in high school, I would have been like a much kinder, smarter kid. The ending had an element to it, I will say, that I personally have a problem with, but I think for this book, it works. I don't like when this situation happens in other books, but in here, I think it makes sense, especially because there are kind of magical elements throughout the book, like here and there. Nothing like explicit, just a little bit. Makes you wonder. This reminded me a lot of 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez in the themes, not so much in the narrative or the structure, but in like the themes of time and the themes of family and generations and generational impact. I don't know if maybe my brain, because I'm comparing it to 100 Years of Solitude, is why I didn't feel like I quite enjoyed it as much, especially at the end, because the end of 100 Years of Solitude is my favorite part of the book, and the end of this is probably my least favorite part of the book. But I do think if I went back and like reread this, I think I would still get a lot out of it on the second read. I think my enjoyment would probably be higher on the second read just because I'm already familiar with the characters and their relationship to each other. Just going through it again, I think, would be cool. Sneak peek of my basement, by the way. This is my basement. That's where my books are gonna go soon. So I'm putting that down because I'm done with it. 4 stars, so good. I'm between starting, what am I between starting? The Favorites and The Night Circus. Both of those sound like good options right now, so I'm gonna wait on it a little bit and see how I feel. I don't have either of those on audio, So maybe I'll look and see if I can get either of them on audio. I'm gonna go return this to the library because people are waiting on it. If you haven't read Homegoing, I think you really should. Moving on, I'll either be picking up the favorites or the Night Circus. I'm gonna see if I can get either on audio because I'm crocheting. I'm crocheting plant hangers right now. I put together with my hands, I DIY'd like a little ceiling trellis for our hallway upstairs for my partner for Valentine's Day, and now I'm making plant hangers to go with it because the trellis couldn't be a surprise because I needed his help. So he'll be able to open these tomorrow. This is a running theme on my channel, making presents the day before I need to give them. Okay, I'm gonna go bye. Is this the last place I updated you at? My bad. Since I finished Homegoing, I'm deciding which book to pick up. I read the first chapters of the other books on my TBR, so I read the beginning chapters of the favorites of And Then There Were Wolves and of the Night Circus. I really wanted to pick up both of the favorites and Then There Were Wolves. The Night Circus, I don't know, nothing about the book is wrong, my brain is not like paying good attention at the moment, so I just couldn't follow it very well, the first chapter, so I decided it wasn't the time. Hopefully it's the time soon because I really want to read it. I think I'm going to love it, obviously. The favorites was really good. I really enjoyed it, but just the toxic like relationship vibe isn't really what I want right now, so I decided to go with And Then There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey. This is kind of dark so far. I'm 30 pages in. We're following this woman who is a researcher for wolves, and it's kind of about environmental impact. She's trying to reintroduce wolves into the forests of Scotland. You know, there's conflict between the townspeople and the scientists who, you know, are funded by the government. There's also some inner town things going on with some violence against women, and I think those are going to be probably the two main things that we focus on. Our main character has a neurological disorder which causes her to feel the pain she sees others have. Like if somebody cuts their hand and she's watching, she feels that as if she cut her own hand. Very interesting. I don't know if that's real. I hope it's not. That sounds terrible. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying our main character. I think she's very interesting. This is really short. It's only 250 pages, so I have like 200 pages left. Probably won't take me too long to read unless the content gets even heavier. In that case, it might take me a while. But that's where I'm at with the books. So I will update you when I have something to update you with. Hi, I just wanted to do a quick update on Once There Were Wolves. I keep wanting to say And Then There Were Wolves, I guess because of like Agatha Christie and Then There Were None. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Let me put you down. I'm over halfway. I'm on page 156, and I wasn't even really gonna update you. I didn't feel like I really had anything to say, but then I was thinking about it, and I do have things to say. Because, like, it's true that there's a plot. It's very hard to put this down, because I just want to know. There's a lot of information being kept from us on purpose from the character. We're learning more about her life, like her past. At the same time, we're getting the current events, and something terrible, terrible, terrible is going to happen in the past that is obviously affecting our current, and I just need to know exactly what it is. So it's been very difficult to put this down. This is marketed as a mystery from my understanding, and I don't know if there's going to be a twist, but I feel like we already know what the situation is. I guess it feels like a mystery, but it doesn't feel like our character, it doesn't feel like our character is really treating it like a mystery. Does that make sense? The only other thing I really have to say, other than I'm loving it, is like the dialogue is so interesting. It reminds me of the Killing of a Sacred Deer, that movie, where like the dialogue is just super jilted and people don't talk like that. I feel like that's happening in here. I can't really tell if it's on purpose or not, but like the things that these characters are saying are so out of pocket sometimes. Nobody would talk like that. Nobody talks like that. I don't know what the deal is with that, but it is kind of taking me out of it sometimes when I'm reading the dialogue. Those are my thoughts so far. I have 100 pages left. It's so short. I have another book that I'm reading, but I don't want to pick it up. Like, I just want to just sit and read this all day, so I'll probably be done with it pretty soon. Oh, hi Nugget. Hi Nugget. Oh, hi. You sleeping? Alright, well, while Nugget makes his little nest, I will update you. I'm going to crack this open, because I don't know. I have a lot of feelings. This is me coming to tell you that I finished Once There Were Wolves. I finished this morning. I'm giving it 5 stars, okay? I was going to update you, I think, again, because I had thoughts, but also I couldn't put it down. I needed to know how everything was going to play out. I did guess the reveal, like the main reveal, I guess. I guessed it like not too far before it happened. Like most of the story, I was just going along with, what is that about? Most of the story, I was going along with our main character, learning with our main character, trying to figure this out with her. Just, there was one coincidence that felt like made it a little too obvious. I loved this though. I stand by the weird dialogue. That continued to be a thing throughout. It does read like an A24 movie. It really does. Like, our characters' motivations, our characters' like decisions they're just off. They're just a little off in a way that you're like, real people don't really behave like this. In the way that when you're watching an A24 movie, you're like, people don't really behave like this. I loved it. It works for me. It works every time for me. I did annotate this like homegoing. I wasn't planning on annotating it, but then I just kept wanting to. So this is about wolves, and it's about conservation, and it's about violence against women and our bonds with the women in our lives, what we would do to protect the women in our lives. It was just a very complicated story with a lot of complicated characters. So yeah, like, I did know the reveal, but it didn't take away from the story that I knew. It's one of those stories that's unique enough and complicated enough that you don't necessarily, like, it's not relying on a plot twist to be good, which is the best kind of book in my opinion. I do love a plot twist, don't get me wrong, but a book shouldn't just be good because of a plot twist, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we're talking about predators and prey and men and women and the nature and humans' relationship with nature. Like, there's just so much to this book, and it's only 250 pages. Like, how do you pack that much in 250 pages? Fantastic. I will be reading more from Charlotte McConaughey, that's for sure. I know Migrations is her other, like, big one. For some reason I thought she had one coming out soon, but I'm not sure if that's right. Let me look. Oh yeah, Wild Dark Shore. A family on a remote island, a mysterious woman washed ashore, a rising storm on the horizon. Dominic Salt and his 3 children are caretakers of Shearwater, a tiny island not far from Antarctica. Home to the world's largest seed bank, Shearwater was once full of researchers, but with sea levels rising, the salts are now its final inhabitants, picking up the seeds before they are transported to safer ground. Despite the wild beauty of life here, isolation has taken its toll on the salts. I love isolation. Okay, I will be reading that as well. 5 stars. I'm so glad I read this. On that note, I am going to close this out of this vlog because I don't feel like continuing it and I don't want to put any pressure on my reads anymore. Like, too many good books at once is a little overwhelming. I feel like I need something a little more chill. So I'm probably going to pick up like a thriller or something. I don't know if that's true. I just read the guest list and it was terrible. So maybe I should pick up a thriller, something a little more my alley, I guess. The guest list, I'm so confused. For some reason, I completely thought that it was and then they were non-retelling. I feel like it was marketed like that. And I don't know if it's just because it was an island, but other than the island, there's no reason to make that comparison. It doesn't make any sense to me. And it was so boring. Book review you didn't ask for. What a successful little vlog. I did find some 5 stars. Some of my predictions were right. I mean, and the one that wasn't 5 stars was 4 stars. So like, that feels like a pretty good record to me. So thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me. If you want to keep hanging out with me, subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.